You're moving to Boise, Idaho, and the month you decide to move here actually matters, but it goes against what most people would think. So we are going to talk about the best and worst months to move to Boise, why that is the case, and why it's more important than you might think. Plus, there can be some big issues with some months you decide to visit Boise. So at the end, I will talk about why you should visit during certain months and not others. My name is Brady Fagel. I'm a Boise local and a real estate agent. If you have any questions at all, shoot me a text or leave a comment. And if you find some value in this video, subscribe to the channel. Now let's talk about the best month to move to Boise, Idaho. This includes those of you moving here and buying a home, and those of you moving here and renting a home. So it will be important information for everyone moving to Boise or thinking of moving to Boise. There are a couple of aspects of this month, of the month you move to Boise, so we'll break it up into each of those categories. The first of those is going to be the weather. And then at the end, you will have a very good understanding of the very best months to visit in Boise, looking at everything that we talk about as well as the worst. But when it comes to the weather, some of this will be obvious and some of it will be counterintuitive to the other categories. But the best time to move to Boise when it relates to weather will be June and September. Both of these months have some of the best weather during the year. It's usually 80 degrees and sunny versus what a lot of people visit or end up moving in July or August. In July, it's 100 degrees. So moving into your home is hot and sweaty, and then you can be stuck inside once you move in, especially when the smoke is bad during July and August. And that's never fun to work your butt off to move to this amazing place in Boise and then be stuck inside for a month. Wintertime, and specifically January, is probably the worst month to move to Boise when it relates to weather. This is the month we have the most winter storms. It's usually the coldest month, and the highways and interstates around us can get closed during January. Boise might have one or two storms during winter that bring enough to impact the Boise area, and oftentimes those fall in January. But the issue is with the mountains and the interstate passes around us that you have to take when traveling and moving here. It's not as much the roads around town. Most of the time the snow is melted by the afternoon once you get to Boise. Now the weather, it's probably the simplest and least important reason for choosing the best months to move here, as you'll see later on. It will have some contradictory reasons with some of the more major factors. But before we get into the most important side of this, again, my name is Brady Fagel. I make these videos every week to hopefully help you make the best decision for you and your family. If you're thinking of moving to Boise, shoot me a text or a call anytime, whether you're moving next week or next year. And know that if you trust me enough to reach out, then you will get me as your agent. I'm not going to pass you off to someone on my team or someone you don't know. I work with all of my people the whole way through. And if you find value in this next section of the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out and it helps you stay up to date on everything Idaho. Now, this next part is the most important part of buying or renting a home in Boise and choosing the best month. It can save you tens of thousands of dollars, and I often see people choose some of the absolute worst months to buy or rent when they eventually move to Boise. And starting off with the best months. The real estate market in Boise has its natural ebbs and flows because of winter. The real estate market slows down around December. There's around 50% less homes on the market during winter time. So your options for homes are limited, which means you might not have the perfect home on the market, but you do have some of the best prices and opportunities. Whereas in the summertime, from around June to August, you have the most amount of homes on the market and there's the most activity. But the best months to buy or rent in Boise will be when you have both the best chance for opportunities and prices, and then the most homes to look at on the market. This is where finding a happy medium creates some of the best months. And the first of these months is around October. There are still a good amount of homes on the market during this time, but home prices have usually started to drop in preparation for winter. And a big benefit of this time is that people will list their home in late summer around July, thinking that it's the best time to sell their home. And they will either list their home too high and get greedy, because a huge misconception is to list your home high and then lower the price later, when that is one of the worst things you can actually do. So these homes in the summertime remain on the market into October, after doing a number of price drops, and now they get desperate. They need to sell their home to buy a new one, or they're moving out of state, whatever it is. This is some of the opportunity that I talked about. So in October, you have some of the better prices, more homes to look at, and you have the absolute best weather there is. Sometimes it can be a little bit cold in October, but you're not gonna have snow, so it's still gonna be really nice. But the second best month has very similar reasons to October, but there's a slight difference, and that is to buy in March. Home prices haven't gone up yet for summer. There's lots of new homes coming on the market, but the only downside is, in comparison with October, is that all of the new inventory knows that they have summer coming up in a couple of months. So sellers are not as likely to give up money and seller concessions to create some of that opportunity. So it's a great month to buy if you want more homes on the market without all of the competition that summertime and late spring can bring. Now let's talk about the absolute worst months, and then we will go into the best times to rent, and then stay for the end because the best times to visit might surprise some of you. We talked about how Boise real estate market ebbs and flows, but the very peak of the market is usually early August. It is right before school. You have the most homes on the market, but the home prices are usually the highest they've been all year long. Plus you're competing with the most amount of buyers. And on top of that, it's 100 degrees and smoky. So August is one of the worst times. The second worst month is January, unless you don't mind your chances with the weather. If you can find a great house and close on that home without having a snowstorm roll in as you're trying to move, you can find some amazing deals and save a ton of money during the winter. And with all of that, there's actually a way to get kind of the best of both worlds, and that is new construction. If you build a home with some of our semi-custom builders, you can buy a home in winter where even builders can have better prices and they'll have some of their more major incentives sometimes, and then move to Boise in your new home during some of the best months. Usually this would be June or even September if you chose your home in January, because most builders here right now are on about 6 to 9 month timeline by the time they finish building your home. The only downside to this is for those of you who need to sell your home. Some of the builders are very strict about accepting contingent offers, which just means that buying the new home is contingent upon you selling your home without losing your earnest money or your deposit that you put down. The higher end builders would have non-refundable deposits, and then some builders are super friendly and reasonable. I have had a builder give me 3 extra months to sell a home. So there is some challenges with that. But another benefit of building a home is one, it gives you time to save money, plan way ahead and take your time moving here. And 2, it can sometimes help you time the market, which is usually not a great idea, but right now is a perfect example. If you bought a new construction home right now when interest rates have gone up to 6.5–7%, and then are projected to drop to 6 and 5.5% by mid-2025, you can buy that home, and then when it is finished in 9 months, you can take advantage of the new lower interest rates. Now, the best time to rent is probably pretty short. It's very, very similar to everything we talked about. The only difference is that it's not as extreme. So rental prices might increase in the summer, 50 to 100 a month, and decrease in the winter, 50 to 100. So when it comes to renting, the best month is honestly whatever is best for your situation. There are less rentals available in the winter and more in the summer months, but it doesn't matter nearly as much. The only difference is maybe you want to be mindful of the weather, but really the rental market follows the real estate market on a lower scale. Now we can talk about when the best time to visit is, because it's very counterintuitive. The goal of visiting will be different for everyone. Some of you are already decided on moving here. You know Boise is the place, and most of the things you learn about on YouTube or Google or visiting here are not going to change your mind. For those of you who are like that, just visit when you can and know that late September and early October are some of the best, most beautiful and nicest months to visit. And for those of you who even have a small doubt about Boise, you're unsure if winter in Boise will be for you, or you're unsure if the desert climate and smoke is something you will enjoy, the best month for you to visit is mid-July and mid-January. In July, it will likely be the hottest and smokiest time, so you will experience some of the worst parts of Boise. So much so that I had someone this year visit during this time, and they went from excited about Boise to completely removing it from their list of places to move, purely because of the smoke during July and the heat. January is the same story, just the opposite. This is when the days are the shortest, it is the coldest, and we have inversions, which are the worst part about winter. So if you visit during these times and you are still good with Boise, then you will most likely be fine with living in Boise, which is where the next step and by far the most important part of moving to Boise begins, and that is choosing the correct suburb. When you come to visit, spend as much time in the suburbs to see what one will be best for you, or watch this video here where I go through every single suburb, rank them from A to F, and give you the pros and cons of every place in the Boise area to help you decide if Boise will be right for you. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the support and I look forward to meeting you.